Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Caleb. I'm the founder of Taurify. We are a Facebook ads marketing agency, and over the years we have had the honor and the privilege of running Facebook ads for many different clients in different industries. We have done local lead generation, e-commerce, and worked with different styles of businesses. But in this video, we are going to talk about local lead generation, and I'm going to give you the pros and cons of running local lead generation compared to different types of advertising with Facebook ads. We're going to break this down to three separate categories. There's going to be audience size, targeting, and competition, and some of the pros and cons of each. If you're running in a small local area, your town or your city versus national or nationwide. Now, the pro of running Facebook ads for local lead generation in relation to the audience size is that it is a lot easier to reach people. You are only dealing with a small group of people in terms of the overall audience of the world, so it's so much easier to handle them and to manage them, and you don't have to pick where do you want your ads to run, what country do you want your ads to be shown in, who are the best buyers, what cost per leads are going to be the best on a nationwide level. So basically, the audience is going to be so much easier to manage because you only have a small amount of them. Usually in local lead generation, we see about anywhere between 500,000 audience size to about 1.5 million. Maybe sometimes in the 2 or 3 million if it's more of a populated area. But basically, you're not dealing with that big of an audience, so it's a lot easier to market to them. A con of the audience size is going to be kind of the opposite of what we just said. You only have so many people. Let's say you are in a very rural, small town and there's only 100,000 people in your area, and that's within the 50 miles you service. I would be concerned from a longevity standpoint about running Facebook ads because there's kind of two options. At one point, you're gonna run out of people interested in your service or product, or two, your ads are gonna expire quite quickly just because they don't have enough people to cycle through. If you're running in bigger areas like LA, New York, places like that, you have so many more people to pick from. And if you only have 100,000 people in your area, there's just not that many people that are going to be interested in your thing. For example, we noticed this with some of our clients, that the frequency on our clients that are in a small local lead generation area, the frequency of the advertisements goes up a lot, which means the same people keep seeing the ads but aren't taking action. That's how we know we have two options: either find a new audience or hit the same people in a different way. Maybe a different offer, different creatives, copy, stuff like that. Most of your targeting in local lead gen will be done in the creative and copy. Now let's move on to competition. The pro of competition is that there's not nearly as much. Let's say that you run an e-commerce company that sells sunglasses. There are so many people that sell sunglasses in the world. There's so many different companies, and you don't have to deal with that level of competition if you just run local lead generation. Simply put, it's easier to become the biggest business in a small town than nationally or worldwide. Let's say, for example, that you're the owner of Tim and Bob's Roofing. Then Tim and Bob, there's not that many roofing companies in a small local area. So it's so much easier to build yourself up when you're only competing against a handful of competitors opposed to buckets and buckets full if you were doing national advertising. The con of local lead generation in terms of competition is going to be this. Don't forget that Facebook is an auction. The impressions that you get on Facebook, the people that see your ads, are all based on the auction process of Facebook and what your other competitors are paying. If there are 10 roofing companies in an area, it's going to be a lot cheaper than if there are 100. And if you are unfortunate enough to be stuck in an area that is expensive for advertising, you're trapped and you can't really leave. For example, I'm filming this video right now in the middle of New York City. This is where my office is. And local lead generation here is crazy expensive because there are so many competitors driving that auction price up. And if you're starting out, you're kind of trapped. You don't have any other options here. Whereas if you are running in a national setting, you can target a specific state, territory, location, and kind of pick which customers you want to focus on. For example, ads that I run for our marketing agency, we target Canada, the US, and the UK. That's a large amount of people that we can kind of pick from, and we don't just run ads in a small area that can be pricey. So it's good because you have a limited amount of competition, but it's also bad because if there are a ton of heavy hitters in your area, you're kind of stuck. Now let's move on to targeting, the pros of targeting. First off, it is just so much easier to target in a local lead generation setting. If you are a business that only services a certain area, let's say 20 miles, that is pretty much all you need to do in terms of targeting. I would not recommend using any interests, anything like that. You want to keep it broad because you are already restricting your audience so much, you don't really need to restrict it anymore. The more you restrict your audience, the more expensive each lead will be. For example, if you want to run ads to people who are from the ages of 40 to 41, who are female, who like the color blue, and are interested in siding, it is going to be a lot more challenging because that's such a small select group of people that your cost per lead is going to shoot through the roof. All I would recommend in a local lead generation is just light, very light targeting, like your area, the cities you service, and maybe the age. That's pretty much it. I try my best to leave that open, and that's usually where we see the most success. So it's a lot simpler and it's a lot easier to do that targeting. And it's also a lot easier to connect with your audience. If you run ads in, let's say, Detroit, Michigan, it's a lot easier for you to say, hey, Detroit, we're a local business, and you build that local reputation, and they already trust you and they already like you a little bit more than the other person because you are local. So it's easier to connect. They've probably already been to where you're at. They understand the location. It's easier to connect in a smaller community than on a national one. Now, the cons of targeting in terms of local lead generation is that you're really not going to get to use a lot of these really cool features and settings that Facebook has to offer, like a lookalike audience, tracking things with the pixel super accurately, and really hone in on your target audience, because it's going to have to be a little bit more broad. Now, the Facebook ads will naturally do this on their own, but because of the sizes of your audience, you're probably not going to get to use some of those super cool features that you can use on an e-commerce store to help maximize your revenue. If you are running local lead generation for your business and you need a little bit of help and you want someone to take that over, my team and I can take care of all of this for you. There is a link below. If that sounds interesting to you, you can book a call with me or somebody from my team, and I can show you what that would look like. We also have some free resources on our website on how to set all of this up. I encourage you to check that out and get those resources to help learn a little bit more. I hope this video helped you guys out today, and I will catch you all in the next one.